Hey, what time is it? It's time for another video follow through. And we are in Galatians 5:22 to 23. Grab those Bibles and we're going to look at this great passage. And I want to begin today by asking you a question. Just really quick, right off the top of your head, how would you describe how a Christian should be? Like what should their life look like? If you had to write a job description, say, all right, to be a Christian, like this is what you do. What would it include? And would you say that most people outside of the church, right, people who maybe are critical of the church, of God's people, I'm sure they would say that's what Christians should be and that's how they should act. But is it, and this is the question, is that how they feel that we are? Is that what they're seeing? Because I think a lot of times there's what we should be, what God says we should be, who He says we should be, and maybe how we live. And so maybe it's time for us to not get so upset when the world says, oh, well, Christians are hypocrites and they're judgmental and they're nasty and they're this and they're that. And I'm not saying that you should, have something tagged on you that's not true. But sometimes, we boil Christianity down to going to church, right? Or even just being part of a church. I think it's just much bigger than that. I think it boils down to having the fruit of the Spirit. And we've been talking about bearing fruit all week. So as I read this, I want you to say, okay, is this how someone would describe you, your life? Are these the words that they would use? Would they say, yeah, he or she is all about this? Okay, so here's the fruit of the Spirit, Galatians 5:22. Okay, it's love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. Did you get that? Because Paul says that against these there is no law. There's no law. You can't. Who's going to argue with you for being loving and peaceable, right? And having joy and having patience and kindness and goodness and faithfulness. I mean, people want to be around people like that because they give life and they sort of are a force for good in our world. And I mean real good, not just being nice or anything else. I'm talking about like amazing, like whoa, making people stop in their tracks and going, whoa, look at how she handles herself. Look at how she handled that situation. What did they see? Well, they saw love, they saw joy, they saw peace, they saw patience, kindness, goodness. They saw someone who is very faithful to others and sticks in there with them, sticks by them, and is there for them, and gentle, and practices self-control. He says, this is how we get it. Right? It's in the next verse, right, which isn't part of maybe our focus today, but it's so important. It says, and those who believe in Christ Jesus have crucified the flesh with its passions and desires. So in other words, we have said no to things that are going to hurt people, things that are going to offend God, and things that are just going to do a number on everything in our life. But we're going to embrace this because we belong. Listen to this. We belong to Christ. We belong to Him. And we go even further. If we go into verse 25, it says, we live by the Spirit. And so let us keep step with the Spirit. So there it is. That's the rhythm. Right? Keeping in step with the Spirit continually showing us who Jesus is so that we might know that we belong to Him. And then when you belong to Him, like you're following Him. And if you're following Him, what is Jesus busy doing all the time? What did He do when He was here, right? He loved people. He was caring. He just exuded this joy, and it was all about peace. In fact, He was called the Prince of Peace. You want to talk about patience with people that He dealt with, and kindness? His heart grieved for people who were lost, for those who were hurting, for all of us. Perfect when it came to goodness and faithfulness and gentleness and certainly self-control. Perfect in every way. And we belong to Him. And we follow Him. And so I pray that's every day what we shoot for, that this is who I'm going to be. And why? Because this is really who I am. I'm His. I belong to Him. I am filled with His Spirit. I'm keeping in step with His Spirit. And that Spirit is producing in us all these amazing, amazing things like love. I'm going to say it one more time. Love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, self-control. Nothing can stop that. So let's get after it today, right? See you next time for another Follow Through.